Everybody, Bryan Alvarez here on Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific 3 Eastern, Sunday 3 Pacific 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. And it is Monday here on the show, and you know what that means? We got a lot to talk about here today. The new year is upon us, and I actually think Friday we may do the annual Wrestling Observer Live prediction show. Got to do it here at some point. So we got a lot to talk about from the weekend, however. The AEW World's End pay-per-view. We have a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. We'll tell you all about that show. Lots of things. Well, we had a lot of really good matches on the show. But I can't say there were a lot of big angles on the show. There actually were no angles, no returns, no turns, but a big title change at the end of the show. And a new Continental Champion. So we'll tell you about all of that. Raw is coming up here tonight. Raw is live again. And after a lot of taped shows over the last couple of weeks, about 11,000 tickets out for this show. A lot of people excited for Raw tonight. Lisa will be attending. We'll tell you about that. NXT tomorrow. New Year's Smash Dynamite on Wednesday. And a bunch of news, including lots of controversy. I don't think it's really a controversy. I guess it is with, like, one fella on Twitter that was addressed. But anyway, there was a spot on the AEW pay-per-view where Kyle Fletcher took, like, a sleeper suplex and landed right on his head. And William Regal commented on it. And once he did, a bunch of other wrestlers started commenting as well. So we're going to spend a lot of time talking about that here today because I got other things I got to add to that. But we'll talk about that. Nick Gage is apparently doing a lot better. Got an update on Chris Jericho, CM Punk, and plenty more. Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Well, we reviewed Smackdown yesterday, Tom, and you don't even get Smackdown. You're very, just, you know how you are.
Fine. Whatever. I don't care. Whatever.
That's your impression of me?
Yeah, that's my impression of you.
Wow.
So what are we, at least, I hope you at least watch a Smackdown main event.
I watched the entire show.
Okay, because there's a lot of people that still like your review, Tom.
I went on the board, and I saw, like, 2 people.
Yeah, do you go on Twitter?
Yeah, I do go on Twitter,
You read my emails?
I do go on Twitter.
The text messages? I mean...
Do you go on Twitter? Because if you do,
unfortunately, yes.
You would have seen one of the greatest moments in world history.
In world history, really.
World history. Frank Tate walked away the victor of the fight, but he walked away an even bigger winner when it comes to life. This man completed what I would say is the best high five, the best dap up in the history of the galaxy. This man had his dog. And when I say dog,
barely a dog.
I mean D-O-G and D-A-W-G. This was a dog, baby. The dog was so proud. You can see just the elation in that dog's face. He threw that paw up. He let it hang for a few moments, and then he brought it down for the dap.
Tom's not even doing this justice. Everyone has seen a dog, like you put your hand out and the dog like puts his paw up to shake hands. This freaking dog goes, ah, hoppa! Like, what? That was more than a high five. I don't even know what you would even term that. He dunked. He dunked that man.
30 million views on this clip. And that is about 1/10 of what it should have. So if you haven't seen it, you deserve it. Treat yourself. Go to my Twitter. Watch Frank Tate high-five his dog.
No, he did not high-five his dog.
The dog high-fived him.
His dog high-fived him. Yes. He just wanted like a, just boom. And this dog was like, no way, brother. You knock that man out. I'm going to give you a big-time dunking high-five from way up high. You go high-five, up high, down low, too slow. This was an up high. Guy should have pulled his hand away.
It's the best thing you've ever seen.
Man, too slow, Joe. Yeah, it was pretty good. Not going to lie. I liked it. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance Storm is joining us here today. We got a lot to talk about, including the World's End pay-per-view. MJF is a new AEW champion. Jon Moxley won the Continental Classic. Those are the two big stories coming out of the pay-per-view. But another thing we got to talk about relates to the pay-per-view, which is during the Jon Moxley match with Kyle Fletcher, they did a spot. And they were up on the top rope, and they were fighting everything like that. And Kyle is facing away from the ring, and Moxley puts him, like, in a sleeper or some sort of hold. The hold is irrelevant. But the point is, he gave him a big German off the top. And I think the idea was that Kyle Fletcher was going to flip all the way over and, like, land on his stomach. Because we've seen this spot before with, like, the half Nelson German off the top and a regular German off the top, and there's a lot of spots off the top, and sometimes people will land on their back-ish, but usually they'll just try to flip all the way over, land on their stomach. Everybody goes crazy, but that's the safe way to do it. Well, I don't know if he tried and didn't make it, or if he's just out of his mind, but Fletcher he went up and he came right down on his head, and it was a brutal landing. It wasn't quite straight up and down like a tombstone, but, I mean, his head did hit the mat before anything else, hard, and it looked brutal, and I thought, oh, man, this guy's dead. And the referee thought, oh, man, this guy's dead. And the announcer thought, oh, my God, this guy's dead. Everyone goes over to check on the guy, and he just lays there for a while. But then, 30 seconds later, he's up, and he's doing spots, and he's running wild. And, after the show, Lance's favorite phrase, he seemed fine. Meaning, he
doesn't need immediate medical attention.
He's not dead. He's not paralyzed. He doesn't immediately need to go to the hospital. He was fine. That's what everyone said. He's fine. So, that was what happened. The match continued, blah, blah, blah. So, the next day, William Regal, he went on social media, and he says, I stay off here, but I was alerted to something today that has alarmed me. I don't read any comments, so don't waste your time trying to argue or justify your very wrong opinions on this, he said. I broke my neck twice, September of 1993 in the ring, and then a car wreck in 1997, and stupidly never told anyone. And I was taught properly how to bridge and not land on the top of my head. It's a skill that maybe 99.9% of people don't know or will ever learn anymore. I kept going somehow. Is he all right over there?
Yeah, Max is...
The show started, and so he's got to...
Exactly.
Okay. I kept going somehow, but knew all the tricks that, again, people don't learn now and watch film and just copy. He rejected the idea that landing on your neck doesn't hurt, noting that taking these types of bumps now are not worth it later in life. He said the death of Misawa, who died during a match back in 2009 after suffering a neck injury that was caused by years of wear and tear, said after Misawa saw and passed from his neck problems, I thought it would stop this nonsense, but it's actually gotten worse. And whenever I talk to people about them doing it, it doesn't hurt. Believe me, it will. I have people close to me now, Bryan Danielson being one, who is suffering daily, like myself, from his neck. It's a daily misery. Sleep and every other aspect of your life is more than hard. Although people use the term tough about me, you'll never hear me say that, as I'm not and don't think I am or ever have been. Money and whatever nonsense fame is supposed to be is not worth the pain or supposed two-evening glory you get from these ridiculous moves dropping yourself on your head. The vast majority of fans don't know the difference between a vertical suplex and a brainbuster, and that's a far tamer move than many of them that I see now. I'm 57 and become less relevant every day, but fame has never been my thing, so most of you doing this stupid stuff are not going to listen to me, but hopefully a few do. Stop it now if you want a decent quality of life after wrestling, because that part of your life will be over before you know it, and wrestling done right is hard enough, but broken necks or death are not something you should think is tough or cool. It's idiotic thinking. And clearly that was in reference to the Kyle Fletcher bump, and this resulted in comments from a few people. Ivar, who I'm trying to remember how he injured his neck. But it was one of those things where he didn't get dropped on his head. It was a deal where I think he did a tope, actually. But he just had wear and tear. And then, one thing that shouldn't have been a neck injury ends up breaking his neck. And he said it was life-altering. There was a before and an after. I wish I could remember the before. And this is after, by the way, he's got neck surgery. He says, I do have permanent nerve damage and nerve pain in my hands. That's never going to go away. That's something I live with. As far as everything else, I got most of my mobility back in my neck. So even getting neck surgery and, repairing his neck, he still has lifetime nerve damage in his hands. Piper Niven, she wrote, the line between I feel fine and I just want to feel okay again is horrifically thin. You have zero idea how close you are to teetering on the edge of it. Please take heed, my darlings. So, for those of you that don't know, and I don't even know what the spot was where she hurt her neck, but she has been out since August, and she may not come back. I mean, there's been a lot of talk that this one's a career ender. It is her neck. And it's the same deal, It was wear and tear and took a bump, and that was it. We could talk about Will Ospreay. There was, Will Ospreay in probably 2018, 2019. He was landing on his head, all the time. And one day, Dave and I were talking about some match. I actually think it was him and Ibushi, where, they were both trying to see who could land on their head worse in one match. And we were talking about the match, and, the comment was made that this guy's got to be careful or he's going to end up like the Dynamite Kid. He's going to be in a wheelchair. And apparently Will Ospreay heard this, and, he got really upset about it. And he actually went to a New Japan press conference and played the audio of us talking about how he was going to end up like the Dynamite Kid. And, he eventually did start toning it down. Less bumps on the head. Less bumps, less crazy. He still worked really hard.
Didn't Jericho also pull him aside and basically say the same thing?
He probably did. But, I can tell you this, with Kyle Fletcher, there are multiple people, probably daily, in AEW telling him, you don't need to do this. Will you stop doing it? But the word that I got was, this guy just loves doing it. He's just going to do it. He's a young guy. And like everybody else, he's not going to listen. And anyway, the point of the Ospreay thing is that guy did tone down. He's still fantastic. But if you watch his matches, they're so much safer now. And he's out, neck surgery, because it was the wear and tear from 6 years ago, and it caught up to him. Look at Kenny Omega. How many surgeries did that guy have over the past year? And he's still pretty great, but he doesn't necessarily think he is. So, it will catch up to Kyle Fletcher. I would hope that it doesn't anytime soon, but it will someday. It's inevitable. And it's the cycle of life. Older people with bad necks telling young people to stop landing on their heads. The young people don't listen. Eventually, they need neck surgery. Then they're telling the next group of young guys, quit landing on your head. You're going to need neck surgery. And it just goes on in circles.
And the number of people with neck surgeries seems to be going up. And the vast majority of them are not from a Big E moment where it's like, okay, that's the one that did it. The Steve Austin, oh my God, that's the one that did it. Most of them are I'm fine, but damage was done. I'm fine, but damage was done. And then eventually the damage is so bad that you're having numbness in your hands, you're going for surgery, your career is over. And there is a toll that has to be paid. And again, William Regal was not exactly a daredevil bump taker, and his neck was atrocious. And again, he had a car accident, but regardless of that, his neck was a complete, I guess, is a complete disaster.
Back in a moment with more Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Chat GPT, Smackdown review starring Filthy Tom and Bryan Alvarez.
Welcome back, you miserable wretches, to another disaster of an episode of Figure 4 Daily, the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to make your brain rot faster than watching one of these Smackdown episodes. I'm your host, Filthy Tom Waller, joined by the man who somehow manages to be more useless than a rubber knife in a prison fight, Bryan Alvarez. What's up, Bryan?
Let's not pretend you're the shining star of this operation. You're like a broken pencil. Pointless. And I don't even know I'm still here with you. Anyway, let's get to this train wreck of a Smackdown. Spoiler alert, if you were expecting a wrestling show, you've come to the wrong place. It was like watching someone fall asleep in real time.
You should know all about falling asleep, Bryan, since you've been half dead for years now. If enthusiasm was an Olympic sport, you would get a participation medal for showing up, but still lose.
I could tell the crowd was hyped for Drew, and Nakamura's music is always a banger, but it was just nothing. It's like watching a 5-minute commercial for a product you don't even want to buy.
And I bet the only thing that was more uninspiring than this match was your entire existence. Let's move on before I fall asleep right here on this microphone.
Tom, you think because you're a former fighter, that makes you a wrestling expert? You'd probably lose in a match with a traffic cone. Look, Jade's a star, but Liv Morgan, she's the human version of a please wait screen.
Liv Morgan is about as useful as a sandbag at a swimming pool party, who's like trying to make a turkey sandwich with no bread.
It's like the crowd went from yay to who's got the remote. Can we change the channel?
Liv Morgan's biggest move is making the audience wish for better things. She's like the human version of a wet sock. Nobody wants it.
I get it, Tom. You don't like fun. You don't like energy. You don't like anything that's not just sitting on your couch in your pajamas complaining.
More of the same.
Oh, we're back to more of the same, huh? Just like your wrestling career. More of the same, but somehow still a disaster.
Well, that's it, folks. SmackDown 2025 was more like SmackDown 2005. Same old stuff, same old disappointments. Join us next time when we tear apart something else for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, next time, Tom, maybe you'll actually have some real wrestling to talk about instead of whatever disaster this was. Until then, just remember, don't listen to Tom and don't watch SmackDown unless you hate yourself.
Whatever. It's your funeral.
What? I've never been so embarrassed doing this show as I was for the last 5 minutes. God. Back in the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Lance and I both got stories, so I'll go first. This actually, it applies to Lance, and also, because I heard it from Bryan Danielson, and Lance also, it was his theory, which is, people were asked, like, yeah, do you have, like, an off day when you work out or whatever? And Danielson and Lance, and this was the same with Lance with his eating, it was with cheat days. It was like you never schedule a day off or you never schedule a cheat day because a day off and a cheat day is just going to happen. So basically you try to eat good every single day and then, you're going to be traveling or whatever and, well, I'm stuck having a cheat day here today. Whereas if you schedule the cheat day You have the cheat day, and then you also have the unscheduled cheat day, which is invariably going to come up, correct?
That was my theory, yes, both with the gym and my diet.
Well, I bring this up because when I wrestled, I never landed on my head. I never took head bumps. I never got spiked, nothing like that. Never. And I didn't even take good bumps, as you're well aware. I did the Ric Flair rolling bump all the time, which I think that might be the way to go, Lance, that Ric Flair rolling bump, because both of us held up all right. But anyway, the point is, one day, like, my neck was really bothering me, and it started bothering me for, like, a couple months. I couldn't even turn my head. And so I went to the chiropractor, and it gives me the old cracking, and it's still bugging me. And so, long story short, it ended up being I had a giant knot that once I had the masseuse over like the course of weeks get this knot out, my neck was fine. There wasn't anything wrong with there wasn't anything wrong with my what did I say?
Masseuse.
It's the same thing.
No, it is not.
What's a masseuse?
A masseuse is someone you'll get in a hotel that may have a happy ending with it. A
What?
massage therapist is a person with a degree that actually knows what they're doing.
A person with a degree can't be called a masseuse?
Trust me, I have a very good friend who's a massage therapist. They're very different.
How about that? Well, anyway, I didn't get that kind of massage. They actually got the knot out of my neck. But anyway, the point of this is, when I was with the chiropractor, after it wasn't helping my neck to get cracked, this guy, he goes, let's do an x-ray. And I said, okay. So guy x-rays my neck, and he goes, yeah, there's nothing really wrong with your neck, but you do have neck degeneration. I was like,
That's not good.
That sounds bad. I was like, neck degeneration? And like, I start sweating a little bit because that sounds like really bad. And the guy goes, well, the reality is everyone at your age has some degree of neck degeneration. And it just is something that happens with life. So anyway, the point of this is, if you think that your neck is just going to somehow magically be fine, if you never wrestle, your neck at some point is going to start degenerating, okay? So the point is, like with cheat days and like with, your workout, you don't need to seek neck degeneration, okay? Your neck is going to degenerate on its own without being dropped on your head. If you get dropped on your head, in addition to your invariable neck degeneration, you're really in trouble. So you got to protect your neck and you got to protect your head. You got to pretty much protect everything. But your neck and your head are the two that, like Ivar said, I mean, yeah, they fixed his neck, but he's got permanent, nerve damage, and his hands are going to be affected for the rest of his life, and that's probably going to get worse. So it's not something that you want to mess with. Now, what happened to you?
Well, I was just going to say, I was very fortunate because everyone, when they're young, thinks they're invincible, big difference. And I was lucky. It was in 91, I'm like 10 matches in, and I took a bad bump, spilled out of the ring with the guy I was wrestling with, and landed very hard on the cement floor. And I woke up the following morning and couldn't walk. And I'm laying in bed in a crappy hotel in Okotoks, Alberta, laying there going, I think I shattered my hip. My career might be over. And I'm like 8-10 matches in because I couldn't walk for days. And thankfully, it ended up being a hip pointer, really bad bone bruise. And after about 3 days, started to loosen up and I could walk again. But it really made me aware that I'm not invincible. And one bad bump could end my career. And that was not something I wanted to have happen. So I became far more careful with what I did, knowing that you're one bad bump away. And I think those who have that scare early get smarter quicker than those who do a lot of those bumps and, again, are quote unquote fine, and they get that damage until it's too late. And we all need to be careful. Doesn't mean you can't take risks, but you need to be smart and really cautious about some of the risks we take, because it's going to be a lot of people. I never had a serious neck injury. I have neck pain and discomfort most days.
I was, I don't know, I don't think Vinny's ever got his neck checked out, but he didn't ever get dropped on his head either. But, it was like, it was not that long ago that I realized, you can't ever turn your head because he always goes like this.
Yep.
Like you go, hey, Vinny, and he goes to look at you. He doesn't turn his actual head. And one day I was just like, why can't you turn your head? He goes, I don't know. I can't turn it anymore. I was like, whoa, that guy never did anything crazy, and he can't turn his head. So
yeah, my backup camera is my best friend because I can't turn my neck enough to look out the back window of my vehicle. So those backup cameras really help because my neck has limitations, and I never had a serious neck injury and never had, thankfully, never required a surgery.
I don't want to make light of this, but Dave did do he did a deal in the Observer this week, a study.
Oh, geez.
Where he discovered that there are more injuries in AEW. I was like, I'm not sure we need a study for that. I think you can just watch the shows and watch how the shows are booked, and that'll pretty much answer your question. So it's kind of weird the way he did it. He goes, normally around 12% of the AEW and WWE rosters are injured at any given time. But he says the most recent stats show AEW's injuries happening at a higher frequency. So he said that it's usually 12% each, but now WWE's injury percentage is 8.6%, and AEW is at 14.4%. And the issue that I have with this is he's got a list of injuries. And so he says notable WWE wrestlers currently out of action: Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Bianca, Zoe, Apollo Crews. So actually, Apollo Crews is back, so he shouldn't be on the list. Elton Prince, Piper Niven, Adriana Rizzo, and others. Chad Gable should be back soon. And then for AEW, he had Ospreay, Buddy Matthews, Wardlow, Thunder Rosa, who actually is cleared, so she shouldn't be on the list. Adam Cole, Brian Cage, Jay White, Dustin Rhodes, Nick Wayne, Hologram, Kota Ibushi, Rush, Dralistico, and more. And the thing with this is his list of injuries is like, this guy tore their ACL or, they had neck surgery or whatever. But I don't think it's counting, like, this guy can't wrestle because he just had a serious concussion. Or, for example, like Darby technically should have been on this list when the list was made, but he's not listed. And, there's a lot of head injuries, more in AEW than WWE. And I think it's something that should be taken into account because getting hurt is more than just you have some injury that requires surgery or you're going to be out of action for some time.
Well,
but wrestling a style where you got a concussion here, a concussion there, that's also a big problem, maybe a bigger problem.
Well, that's it. All injuries are not created equal. Like Buddy Matthews, he rolled his ankle doing something that should not have injured him. You can't say that's his style or him being stupid. It was an incredible, unfortunate rolling of an ankle. And I think Bianca's out with a finger or a thumb injury. I don't think that was from taking too many chances. There are those, hey, Pac did a baseball slide and snapped his ankle. It's like those aren't the preventable injuries. And I think that also goes to our analogy earlier on. There's a lot of injuries that are going to happen that you can't prevent or predict and try to be safe to avoid. So those with the high risk, the concussions, the neck injuries and stuff, we really need to take into account. And that's one thing. I'm always talking with Chris Nowinski about concussions, and I send him a lot of clips, and it's like I will see clips of new moves designed by largely green people in a lot of cases, and I'm like, the head velocity on this is so fast, this move's going to concuss people like crazy. And it's like the chances of a concussion with this move really high. Why are we inventing different ways? And I don't even remember who it was. I texted you about it. It
was Bandito on the Ring of Honor show.
The powerbomb out of the Styles Clash position. I'm like, do we need to create a move out of the Styles Clash where you actually do have to tuck? When 100% of the time you're not supposed to tuck, some people forget and can break their neck.
And have broken their neck.
And now we're creating a time where it's like, oh, which move am I taking from this position? Do I Superman or do I tuck? And it concerns me.
It is very concerning. All right, we should talk a little bit about Liv Morgan, by the way, back in action. She got a win at the house show, which might have been, I don't know this for sure, but she was supposed to be the heel, but like the crowd just went completely nuts for her, and they were not cheering Lyra. They were there to see Liv. And so halfway through the match, they switched it up, and so Liv played babyface and then got the win. So they might have switched the finish.
Good for them.
But yeah, they were super into her. And we'll have an update on Adam Cole after the break, and then talk about the AEW pay-per-view and another must-see match this weekend. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
I am going to channel the well-known, infamous roast of Bryan and Lance.
Oh, my God.
I vaguely remember this.
Lance was a champion in virtually every company he has appeared in. While he did hold the distinction of holding 3 titles, that angle fizzled out faster than his podcast, Killing the Town.
Wow. I now remember this utter disaster of a roast.
Let's get Lance a chair to sit in. And as we do, could we also bring someone up here to show him how to use it? I remember that chair shot. I don't remember who it was on, but
utter
I remember
silence that this roast was met with.
Tom, at least I was smart enough not to do those chair shots again.
Bryan, besides me, there are others who I'm sure dislike you, like Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, but I think you're great. Like a guiding light or a father, which is why I'm not surprised when you screw me every week. The best-selling author of The Death of WCW. He had just completed his new book, for which actually Lance Storm wrote the foreword, which is 3 more than most wrestling fans know.
Hideous. Atrocious.
It must be hard when you look so young. If I didn't know better, I'd say you had your grandma's jeans. But actually, if the camera panned down, I bet Lance is wearing them. Anyways, let's start the show. Carmelo went for the La Mystica. Andrade went for the Message.
It's actually not the La Mystica. It starts like a La Mystica, but the La Mystica is actually a submission, and he doesn't land in the submission. He just does the whole slam part and then jumps up.
Yeah, the La Mystica is a tilt-a-whirl head scissor into a Fujiwara armbar.
Into a Fujiwara armbar. The La Mystica is not the submission. Do not tell me.
I didn't say that was a submission. I said the La Mystica involves the tilt-a-whirl facebuster into the submission. The whole thing. Why are you so angry?
Well, you just changed what you said live, right?
Yeah.
No, he doesn't land in a submission. He just slams them. So it's not a La Mystica.
I believe that's the actual move.
Okay,
but
whatever. Who cares?
I just hope editor Sean pulls up the exact clip of you saying La Mystica's a submission and then denying it afterwards.
La Mystica is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a submission.
La Mystica is actually a submission? I didn't say that was a submission.
Editor Sean.
Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. So on the pre-show for the AEW pay-per-view, Adam Cole, he was on the pre-show, and he thanked everybody at the end and said, hopefully you'll be seeing a lot more of me in 2026. And that got a lot of people thinking that he's going to be back in action soon. And I will not say it's impossible, but I certainly was given the impression that he's not going to be wrestling anytime soon. And he may never wrestle again. I mean, even Tony Khan, who's like the most positive guy in the world, he said it would have to be the right situation for Adam Cole to ever wrestle again. So he's still, I mean, hey guys, did I mention you have to take care of your head? So I presume he's going to be back doing commentary and hosting and that sort of thing. I don't know exactly what it's going to be. I do hope to see a lot more of him in 2026, but I don't think it's going to be in the ring. So, the AEW pay-per-view was very good. I would not say it was one of the best pay-per-views of the year. It had its highs. It had one of the best matches of the year. As much as I hated that sleeper suplex, I gave Moxley and Kyle Fletcher like 5 stars. I mean, this match was so unbelievably great. And Jon Moxley was just like incredible in this match. And Kyle Fletcher, he's a complete maniac, but he's incredible as well. And Moxley ended up choking this guy out. And I don't know about this Moxley sometimes, man. He choked this guy, and this guy turned purple and went out, and the referee stopped it. So if I find out someday that he actually choked him out, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised. I mean, this guy was purple in this finish.
Well, it's possible that Kyle held his breath. I used to do that in chokes and stuff. Like, just if a heel was choking me on the ropes, I would legitimately hold my breath and try to turn purple.
It's possible. I've never seen him turn this purple ever. I mean,
he was doing his Brock Lesnar impression.
I guess, man. But so this came off the first match, which was Takeshi and Okada. And they had a really good match, although it was one of those matches where you see those matches every now and then where it's like, this is not their main match. They're going to be doing another one, and they're saving their best match for later. Okada was probably 7 out of 10. Takeshi's always tries 10 out of 10, but Okada, he was working a little harder than usual, but he wasn't out there to have an all-star match.
He also had another match coming.
Well, that and also the finish was so awful. He probably was like, why bother? This finish was so atrocious. Okada goes to the corner, and he gets a screwdriver out of the turnbuckle pad. And he ends up going to stab Takeshita, but Takeshita avoids it, and so he almost stabs the referee, who covers his eyes and then turns his back. And then Okada jabs Takeshita, and he pins him. And I'm like, how in the name of God am I supposed to believe the referee didn't see this? That's the first problem. This finish was so badly executed.
If he covered his eyes, he saw an attempted stabbing.
Exactly. It was so horrible. Like, there were 2 things about it that sucked. The first was the execution was appalling. It was absolutely atrocious, okay? That's number 1. That's actually probably the bigger issue. But the other issue is, like, the whole idea of the Continental Classic is the sanctity of professional wrestling. Tony Khan has ruled if anybody interferes in any match ever, they will be fired from AEW. Not suspended, not fined. The person won't be disqualified. The interfering person will be fired. Fired from AEW. So fans go into this expecting we're going to have straight wrestling and clean finishes up and down this thing. And, maybe if a guy thumbed an eye or a low blow or whatever to be a heel, that's one thing. But a frickin' screwdriver, like, it was just so bad. Like, everything about it was horrible. So anyway, this finish sucked. And then we had the Moxley-Fletcher match, which was, like, out of this world.
I hear Fletcher didn't give up.
He didn't give up. He's no John Cena. But he went to get the screwdriver, and he couldn't find it. So the story is that Don planted the screwdriver, which, by the way, if this were real, they should fire Don, because that's like interfering when you put a screwdriver in the turnbuckle for someone to use, right?
But also, wasn't Don watching when Okada took it? Like, shouldn't he have told Fletcher about that?
Well, it was one match right after another. They claimed that Fletcher was warming up and wasn't paying attention to the match. So then Fletcher, who was supposed to get the screwdriver, couldn't find it, and that led to his demise. So there's a story there. And hey, this story would be great in any other match or on any other show, not in the Continental Classic. You just destroyed the sanctity of your tournament with that stupid finish. We had FTR and Bang Bang Gang for the tag titles in a Chicago street fight. It was fine, but the funny thing is it only went 17 minutes, but it felt like it went 27. And like by the end, the crowd was just dead. Like they'd seen it all. And they're kicking out of one finisher after another. And finally, FTR got the win. It just went too long. Babes of Wrath versus Mercedes and Athena. Willow pinned Mercedes. Athena and Mercedes accidentally hit each other during the match. Willow ends up getting the pin over Mercedes. She'll be getting a championship match coming up this week. We had Darby Allin versus Gabe Kidd, which is funny. Nobody is talking about this match the way they're talking about Kyle Fletcher landing on his head. I was way more concerned watching this match.
Well, Regal didn't mention a specific match, did he?
Well, no, but Darby didn't land on his head in this match.
Oh,
He just got his head hit
else.
over and over again. It was like these guys hit each other so freaking hard, and Darby is just like taking these crazy bumps, and it's like he's trying to get another concussion. This is his first match back since a severe concussion. And prior to this match, the first angle back was him getting thrown down a flight of metal stairs. So, I don't know, man. I mean, if I had remember we were doing Christmas wishes on this show with Tom? My Christmas wish, my New Year's wish, is that Tony Khan will learn to just say no. Just say no. It's okay to say no. If someone has a stupid idea, you say no. If someone is coming off a severe concussion and their idea for their first angle back is to be thrown down a set of metal stairs, you say no. Just say no. Let's protect the wrestlers. Protecting their health and their future is more important than protecting your friendship with them or their ego. Just say no. We had Death Riders versus Tony Storm and the Conglomeration. Mixed Nuts Mayhem. It was a mixed tag. This match was awesome. I mean, it wasn't like awesome in terms of like the wrestling, but in terms of entertainment, it was awesome. The crowd was just eating it up. They love to see women beating up men, especially if the woman is the man's wife. Marina getting her hands on Roddy.
Or her foot.
Oh, my God. Yeah, she kicked that guy right in the face. Probably the biggest pop of the match. So Mark hit the Jade Driller on Wheeler, pinned him. Very fun match. Statlander and Jamie Hayter. Man, I knew this was going to happen. The build for this match was not very good at all. And Statlander's promos weren't all that good. And they're both baby faces. And the fans like both of them. And because they like both of them, I don't think they cared who won because they'd be happy with either of them as champion.
That doesn't help.
You ended up with a match where the crowd is just, like, they're trying, but they're just dead. And then we got a Green Bay sucks chant, which is never a good sign. And these two at the end decided, you know what? We're getting this crowd if we have to kill each other doing it. And so this was another one. Maybe this is what Regal saw. Key Crusher off the top by Statlander to Jamie Hayter. Frickin' killed her. And then didn't even cover her because the next spot was supposed to be a lariat. And it's like, sometimes you got to improvise, dude. Cover her. You almost killed her. At least make a cover. But Jamie ended up getting hit with Saturday Night Fever. Statlander won. I mean, it was good wrestling, but the crowd was dead. Okada and Moxley in the finals was one of those matches where you just saw this match with Okada and Fletcher, which was like a total banger. 5-star match.
Moxley and Fletcher.
Moxley. What did I say?
Okada.
Okada? This is Okada and Moxley. We saw Fletcher and Moxley in the banger. This one here was more, we have a story to tell. The story is that Moxley's foot is hurt, and he also chipped his tooth in the Fletcher match.
Legit.
I mean, it was the weirdest. This was a classic example. I mean, they're setting up the steps, and he just lost his balance, and he fell ching and hit his tooth right on the metal steps, and just it split right in half. I mean, it's brutal.
He broke a good chunk. Chip doesn't seem to do it justice.
No, he cut his tooth in half.
He broke his tooth, yeah.
It was brutal. So he's out here, and he's all beat up, and he's bloody, and he's limping, and Okada, he's fresh as a daisy because he didn't try very hard in that first match. And that's the story they told. And it wasn't up, down, crazy, wild, head dropping, whatever. It was a story. And the story was, yes, Lance, unlike John Cena, John Moxley. You guys notice something, by the way? Ever since John Cena quit, John Moxley won't quit. and he had a string of submitting over and over again. That man will not quit after what he saw, and he refuses to give up here. And he finally, the finish is just like Okada goes for the Rainmaker. Moxley hits a Rainmaker of his own, hits a paradigm shift, hits a stomp, and hits a Death Rider and gets the pin. I mean, just beat the guy. He beat this guy. And the place goes nuts for Moxley. And then he cuts his babyface. I mean, it's a 100% babyface promo about how this is the guy, by the way, that when he won the AEW title, he put in a briefcase for 8 months. Now, this belt is for everyone in this tournament. Everybody who, I can't say what he said, but risked their life. This belt is for you fans that paid your hard-earned money for this show. We in this tournament gave you everything we had. We're the hardest working wrestlers in the world. Everybody in this company who shows up gives everything they got. No other organization in wrestling like AEW. We're the elite of the elite. And the fans are going wild for this guy's rah-rah speech. And I do think that the Death Riders are turning on him at some point. But I do think it's going to be babyface Death Riders versus the Don Callis family in the near term, which it should be, because that would be an awesome feud. And that'd be a great first half of, they could do this all the way through All In, and then have the big Death Riders turn it all in or something like that. So that was great. Then we had Samoa Joe, MJF, Hangman Page, and Swerve for the AEW World title. And MJF got the win clean. They had a spot at the end where Hangman hit Joe with 2 buckshot lariats. He wouldn't go down. He goes for a third, but MJF shoves Joe out of the way and hits a low blow on Hangman. And then he gives Joe the heat seeker, pins him, and wins the title. MJF is the new AEW World Heavyweight Champion, and he will make an appearance on Wednesday's show. And we'll see what's next for him besides Bandito, which likely will also be for the ring, which MJF wore to the ring, but which they have virtually made no mention of. I think they made one mention during one entrance once.
Did they have a new ring for Bandito at least?
There's two rings.
But if that's the case, why doesn't MJF have like 5 of them?
Maybe he does. They only fit one finger. Hey, there's another match that you need to watch this weekend, everybody, which I thought was better than anything on the AEW show except for Moxley and Fletcher. I'll tell you after the break. Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. Okay, can everyone hear it?
Yeah.
There's a mystery bell at Granny's house. She can't hear it. Take off your headphones for a second.
I had them on wrong anyway.
Okay.
I can't get them on right. What?
Right, take them off and listen.
You have in your elbow?
Is the fan on a computer?
Nothing.
All right. Well, this is going to be an exciting show.
Gonna have bells ringing through the whole thing, and it's every week. It's got to be me.
Do you have a neighbor that's an ice cream man
No,
practicing out there?
I got a neighbor that smokes marijuana.
I'm sure you do. I guess
Whatever that noise is, I mean, it's still going.
Yeah, it's not going to stop, dude.
Brian, do you want me to get off here and go see if open the door and see if there's anything out there?
You think something's out the front door?
Is he ringing the bell the entire time?
No, Granny, you don't.
Let me in! Let me in!
It's fine. It's fine.
If it's death, don't open the door.
Thank you, Craig. This person thinks it's a stove timer.
Have you burned the roast?
No, I don't have a stove. You want me to just get off here?
No. We're going to barrel through it.
I'd love it.
You're not even doing anything. Granny, Nick says that you've got an old-fashioned analog alarm clock in Terry's bedroom.
I don't know. I got a new alarm clock, battery operated. Is that what she meant?
Well, whatever it is, it's going haywire right now.
Oh, it might be my alarm.
Do you think?
But it's way back in the bedroom.
Don't worry about it right now. But when the show's over, you might want to go...
That's what it is.
Okay.
Solve the mystery.
Is there a reason you didn't turn it off when it started ringing?
Well, I wasn't in there. I didn't.
Duh.
I took a nap. I took a nap and set the alarm. I thought I shut it off, but I probably didn't.
No.
You probably didn't.
That's life.
I would say with a good deal of certainty that you didn't turn it off.
Brian, that's life around here.
Yeah, I'm well aware. I do the show with Dave, too.
Say,
Hear all sorts of things in the background.
did I do that? You know,
Yeah, you did do that.
or I thought I did that, but I didn't.
In there.
I wake up and I see lights on, and I say, I didn't turn those lights on. What's going on?
Maybe the place is haunted.
Could be.
Okay.
It's my brain that's haunted.
Well, I hope not. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. I hadn't watched Smackdown when I did the show with Dave on Saturday, and he goes, "Hey, you know, aside from that Ilya Carmelo, not really much of a show in the Drew stuff at the end. Kind of blew the whole show off. That show was really good. And guys, I got to tell you, that Ilya Dragunov Carmelo Hayes match. I mean, I worry about Ilya as well. He's also coming back from an injury." But, I mean, he's just more, hit people really hard in safe places as opposed to, actually hurting people or himself. But, I mean, this Ilya Dragunov Carmelo Hayes match, oh, my God. This may have been the best SmackDown match of the entire year. It was one of the best WWE matches of the entire year. I mean, it was incredible. And the fans at the end... I mean, sometimes you get those fan reaction shots and you're like, oh my God, another fan reaction shot or whatever. I was so happy they got these fan reaction shots. These fans, they always have that old saying, these fans are living and dying with the match. It's like a cliche. Dude, these fans were they were living and dying with these near falls at the end. I mean, they are going nuts. And Carmelo Hayes finally... he hits a big move and he goes up and these people are just there going wild. Oh my God. And he hits a move and he wins. Giant standing ovation. This place is going wild for this match. So if you have not seen Carmelo Hayes and Ilya Dragunov, that is a match to go out of your way to see because it was awesome. An incredible match. And actually it was, I guess, the last great match. I guess there could be one tonight. But there will not be one tonight as good as this match. It's just not happening. So the last great WWE match of 2025 on SmackDown this past Friday night. So check it out. And that's it, Lance. We'll have you on, I guess, tomorrow as well, right?
Yes, sir.
That's the plan, everybody. And probably prediction show Friday. So get your predictions ready. And that's it. We're going to wrap it up. We'll talk to you next time. Wrestling Observer Live.